Hey friends, so today we're going to make a really cute Christmas decor piece out of an old book and out of these Christmas vintage prints that I've got in my Etsy shop. And the link will be below this video, so be sure and check those out. There are 80 prints total, so there's 40 of all the same prints in a 4x6 size and the same 40 in a 4x4 inch size. And so they're perfect for what we're going to do today, for all kinds of decoupage, framing, paper crafting, card making. The prints can be resized if you know how to do that. Just know that sometimes some of the quality can be lost a little when you do resize. But anyway, so that's up to your discretion. But anyway, I decided to use this one. There's all kinds of poinsettias and lanterns and lampposts and holly berries and Santas. Just lots of fun prints. So I'm using this one that I cut out there, and I went around the edges with my Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color Vintage Photo. And now I'm distressing all the pages, making them look even older and worn, because it's not that old of a book. I think I just got this at a thrift store, but it was in good shape. But anyway, I just distressed and browned up all the edges of the pages. So now I'm going to paint the book, the hardback cover, in Crimson Chalk Paint by Waverly. And I started out and the paint was just a little too thick. So I managed to get the first coat on, but off camera I added a little bit of water and mixed it up. And after drying it, I coated it again with a second and in parts even a third coat, and it worked out much better. So as you can see there, it's just too thick, so I had to thin it up. And on the bottom, I just painted it once. But on the binding, the side edge there and the top, got 2 and 3 coats in parts. And then I just dry it with my heating tool in between each coat. Even here, it's still a little bit too thick. I wish I would have checked it before I started my video. But in the end, I've got it covered really well. And I almost forgot to get the inside edges because they do show when you'll be displaying your book. So you want to make sure that those are painted as well. So I paint one side and then I go to the other side. So now I'm using my distress ink again and kind of roughing it up and distressing it, make it look worn and weathered a little bit. And it calms down that brightness of the red too. I like the more vintage red better. So I love this distressing ink. I use it on so many things. So now I'm just going to put a generous layer of Mod Podge on the back side of my print. And I'm just using a paintbrush and just making sure every spot is covered, especially clear to the edges and the corners. Just spreading that all over. I decided to put it in the center but down towards the bottom of the book since I'm going to put some ribbons and greenery and stuff at the top. So I'm just using a paper towel just to kind of blot it down and flatten it out. And then I'm using my heat tool again, and I use my fingers a little bit to flatten it down and make sure it's just all smooth. Now I'm using my distress ink again. I just wanted a little bit more on that print, especially on the corners and that. Now I'm putting another layer on top of the book and the print. And I just printed this on regular computer paper, by the way. Works out great. I could see I had a little bit too much Mod Podge on and too small of a paintbrush. So I just grabbed a foam sponge brush and kind of smoothing that Mod Podge out on the top. Then using my heat tool again, just giving it a really good thorough dry. And it's looking very pretty already. towards the end of my roll of my thicker jute twine. So I'm just hot gluing it on top because it's going to be covered in that spot anyway with my bow. So went around it 3 times. Struggled a little bit, so I had to kind of start over a little bit. And you can go around as many times as you like, but I like the looks of 3 going around. Excuse me. Just secured it on the one edge a little bit. And then I'm just going to glue that edge, secure it down really well. Just making sure they're lined up where I want them to be. I have some stamps, and I'm not sure where I got these. I want to say I got them on Temu. They're just some Christmas stamps. This one I'm going to use, I had a hard time getting it. It was really stuck on the plastic, but it says, "Special delivery from the North Pole." And I'm using my ink pad from Stampin' Up. And I wanted, before I stamped on my book, I wanted to test it out and make sure it looked okay. So I just stamped on a piece of paper, and it went all right. So I was hoping and thinking it would go onto the book cover as well. Just making sure I've got plenty of ink on there. Sorry, I'm off camera just a little bit, and I just put that down real carefully where I wanted it to be. And I rolled it a little bit to get the edge, all the edges on, and it moved it ever so slightly, but it still, to me, looks vintage and just kind of the look I'm going for. And then I decided to put one more down at the bottom on the binding side. It's just a little circle that says joy. Same process here, just getting it covered really well with black ink. And I really like the looks of that. So now I grabbed 3 different ribbons, just a red organza, red and white gingham, and then kind of a sage green or a moss green color Waverly chalk paint, or not, I'm thinking paint, ribbon, excuse me. So I just went back and forth with the red a couple times so that there's 2 loops on each side. I only had a little bit of the green left, so I just went 1 loop on each side. Then I'll end with the red gingham, but before I decided before I put that on, I was going to put some loops of twine on. I decided just to go back and forth in my fingers a few times. Make 3 or 4 loops on each side. And I'm just using my mini Bodabra. Works out great for my needs. Going back and forth again with this top gingham. Then I'll pull the jute twine up from the bottom through those middle slots, tie it in a knot, and then I'll tie it in a bow on top and leave it there just to add to the bow that's already there. And I thought this bow turned out really, really cute. So I'm going to glue it on the top right, kind of where there's more of an empty space in the print. After it's set on there, then I'll trim up some of those tails. I have all these rusty jingle bells that I got on Amazon. So I'm going to put one in the middle, but I hesitated. I was undecided at first. I couldn't decide whether to put these greenery picks that I also got on Amazon on or not. So I played with it for a bit and decided to put them on. But it would have looked cute without them too, I think. But these are nice. They're all just bound tightly together, and just stick them in there. And then now I'm going to put that jingle bell on. Then I'll just move the tails, do some more trimming, fluff my bow, and that is it for this project. And it turned out so pretty. And this will be a great seller at craft fair, so I'm going to do up some more with a bunch of these Christmas prints and different colors of paint on the books, different sizes of books. Some I'm going to stack in 2s and 3s. But I thought this turned out really well, and I hope this inspires you to make one of your own. I would love to see it. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And you have a whimsical day. Thanks so much.